Anyways, that weather there is it's not the bad weather. It's normal weather. It's normal winter weather. Not a killer storm hits Finland. No, that's not a killer storm. That's a winter storm. Normal. Okay, so welcome. This is the Innovation Project non-stop, almost virtual class kind of introductory session. If you have any questions, you can ask any time. But first, let me show my point of view of this course. What I think it is. Okay, first of all, you probably have found the course webpage. So everything about the course, what you need to know, is on the course webpage. But just in case, I will check that I have also did some management of the course. Yes, I have accepted this far. All right, how many students? Something like 38. No, 44 students are actually on this implementation, plus about 10 students are still continuing on the previous year. So this is really a non-stop innovation project. So you can actually come here anytime, you can finish anytime, and as long as you play by the rules, then you will be just okay. Okay, so you have all enrolled to the course, but anyways, that's the enrollment code XX00BH18 and so on. If you are basically enrolled to the previous year, okay, I might be actually transfer those students to this year, but anyways, I haven't found that necessary yet. There haven't been too many lectures yet. This is basically third this academic year. Also, I have the similar first session or introduction to this course on August 28th. And then basically I had second lecture on September 4 about rapid prototyping. And then actually I might also include at some point a lecture about 3D modeling, but I don't know yet if that is required or requested. All right, and lectures will be broadcasted on my YouTube channel. Not Connect Pro. I hate the system. It works on a server, not a cloud of servers. So quite unreliable system. In addition, that those recordings done on Connect Pro must be first reviewed, played on a computer in order to actually put those on the online. That's a little bit, proprietary, cumbersome system. Okay, the whole thing is basically based on making 8 online assignments. First assignment is video presentation. About 5 minutes video presentation of your topic. What it would be your topic of the innovation project. There are some instructions there. About the video presentation. Yeah, as for any other simple instructions, what I'm expecting to get basically about 5 minute long video where you briefly introduce your project topic, what this is all about, why you do it, and how you're going to work on it. Okay, so when you are starting the project, when you have a topic, then you should actually do the video. The first day of your work should be not to start doing it, but to make the presentation of what your topic is. The general idea here is basically that then there will be a collection of videos that you can then take a look at and start making comments and questions. So basically, this is kind of what is called. This is kind of the cloud sourcing, meaning that you are basically presenting your stuff to the others that can actually contribute to your idea. They can make comments or questions to clarify, so that it helps you to clarify the topic what you are going to do. As you can see, there hasn't been too much of the progress yet, so only 6 videos, introductory videos, are there available. Okay, so I urge you to actually do this one first. One of those videos, I'm not saying which one, was done actually as the last task of that the innovation project, so I don't, well, yeah, check, done. The reason is basically that you would get some feedback from the others. What is the point of the feedback from the others if you just leave it there, the last point? doesn't make any sense. But anyways, you can do it also that way. But anyhow, the first one is the video. And where to put it? Well, YouTube. You have Metropolia Google account, which means that you also have the YouTube channel. Start using it. This is the one good excuse to start using the YouTube channel, the Metropolia Google account to YouTube channel. Then basically this is more or less closed within the Metropolia students. It's not public to everyone unless you make it. And well, link for public or unlisted viewing, that would be nice. And basically then you should submit the link so that everyone can start looking at it. At least I will be checking it and give you some say usually positive feedback on it. Okay, there's also assessment. All of these exercises are assessed, so you will gain some points. Making the video is 0.6 points. Okay. Activity on asking or commenting on somebody else's video would give you 0.2 points. Some activity on that one. Activity on answering to those questions or comments what you are getting from the your fellow students, you will get another 0.2 points. Okay. Then about the well, after that presentation, the first presentation, you should start planning your project, meaning some 2 things at least. Well, I'm mostly interested about your timetable, or actually even better would be Gantt chart. How many of you know what the Gantt chart looks like? Well, it's a timetable. It's quite good tool for, you know what Gantt chart is, you can put that one as an example there. or modify what I have there. It's not quite Gantt chart yet. Or put a link to the your chart. Timetable. So basically that should then basically guide you. For example, you will start on March, and then you have your own timetable. Put your steps what to do on that timetable. Okay, then the budget. Yes, every project also have a budget, and there are some minimum requirements about the budget what you should count there. Of course, software cost, hardware cost, this is IT stuff, but also somehow estimate, say, labor cost. This is 10 ECTS course, so you should be working for 270 hours. How much you value your own time? or if you are working this on pairs or on small groups, how do you actually value your own time? And basically, this is also a good exercise if you had some, say, entrepreneurial thoughts. You can basically make your own first calculations. Is it worth of actually doing? If it never pays up, then well, okay. And by the way, on these budget calculations, that's also a nice exercise. If you have never done any real life budgets yet, when you go to your real job, you will have to do some budgeting of your sub-projects to your project manager. Guaranteed, you will do that. It's a good place to actually start practicing. I'm not taking too seriously how it should be formed and that kind of things. I'm just checking that you will be doing it. So done, not done. Actually, you gain maximum 1 point by just doing it. If you do a unrealistic it somehow, then I may actually start reducing points. But I don't think that I have ever actually reduced any points yet from anyone. So as long as you do it seriously. Okay, group meetings. Okay, this is a project, which means that there has to be at least an imaginary customer. Okay, the innovation basically means that you will be doing something tangible. This is not a literature research kind of thing. You will do an innovation, meaning you have an idea that would have some value for a target group, your customer. It can be monetary value, or it can be also just a service, or it can be a nice gadget that everyone wants. That it must be something tangible that someone would be interested of paying somehow. It could be also social innovation, meaning that everyone is happy. Okay. Yeah, seriously. But anyways, then you would have those meetings, either within your project group or with the customers. So basically you need to have some documentation showing that, okay, I had a meeting and I made notes. Very simple thing that, well, I have been in plenty of meetings that nobody else did any markings on any paper. So why do you have that kind of meetings unless you actually well, you can also go and just drink coffee, but anyways, you should actually make some notes out of it, unless you have an excellent memory and you remember everything. Yes. Okay, fourth was about the group meetings. So timing of the assignments, my recommendation, first do the video presentation, and within say week or two go through the timetable and budget. Then the group meetings, well, whenever you have those meetings. On the beginning of the project you would probably want to have meetings with your customer, for example, and to make sure that your design parameters for your innovation would be on the same page as your customer needs. Okay, then fifth, again very important for the same reason as having notes, your personal notes on the meetings. Engineering logbook. It's basically a, well, I prefer to have a real A5 a book with empty pages on it, and start filling whatever you are doing. You start scribbling what you did. It's kind of like a diary, but on engineering point of view. So there are drawings, sketches, timing diagrams if needed, and that kind of things. So engineering stuff. It's better to mark those quickly on some notebook, then just leave those on your head and those will disappear. And the real reason to have actually the engineering logbook, that will be actually your proof that when or if you have any dispute about the intellectual property rights. In Finnish law, IPR belongs to the inventor, not the company, but the inventor. The company has the first priority. If it was done during the company time, the invention, company has basically the right to exploit that one on the scope it was actually given as an assignment. Okay, but otherwise, but it's still the IPR is yours. It's inventors. Okay, how you prove that you invented something? Okay, this is very simple. You have a notebook, your personal notebook. The cover looks like this. There's your name, and then basically dates, start date and end date whenever it ends. Name is the key point. On every single page you should have the page number and at least initial or something like that, and also date. Every single page. Start with the page numbering, your initials or your full name and the date. Then your personal notes. And that actually is a good, as long as you do it on permanent marker, it is good if you ever get into the court. On the other hand, if you have that kind of thing, nobody will be going to the court with you. You would have leverage for negotiations. Good. And it's good habit. It's also nice to watch those when you are retired. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, I invented that. Okay. Nobody used it. Oh boy, I was genius. Okay. So that's the reason for the having this engineering notebook or logbook, and that's why I'm asking few pages of that as a return. Okay, then basically the next step, what I would like to see there is the report, table of contents and introduction. So basically this is more like a project plan here, and I could actually have asked the project plan somewhere around, say, after the video presentation project plan, but for a reason I have that one later on there. You can actually even start with this the table of contents of your report and introduction. That basically clarifies what you are doing. Okay. And why I'm asking in that form is because I'm asking you to basically use the final year project template on this report. Meaning, while you are doing the report for the innovation project, you at the same time practicing for writing your thesis. That's nice. Free practice before you go into the real thing. It'll improve your quality of your thesis. Hopefully. Then you have done one. But not that long. So, table of contents basically outlines, that's kind of outline of your project plan. What you are going to do, what kind of things you need to basically, what kind of methods you are using, what kind of tools you are using, what is your approach, why you actually, the first question is why you are doing it. What, why, and how. Okay, and so on. So basically that's the report. Part 1, table of contents. That should be done at the quite very beginning of your innovation project. Next step, you will write the report. Do the stuff what you were doing and write the report. And yes, you have a question. 10 pages. No, this is not thesis. The emphasis is basically on doing and finding a nice, organized way of doing things. More about the process. It's not about the length, how much you need to write. You will be writing a lot for your thesis. Okay. Next step would be the report and originality check, which is also one of the requirements. So every single thesis done in Metropolia must go through the Turnitin system for checking the originality. The original reason, of course, was that we started to have some really stupid plagiarism cases. You know, just copy everything and paste it to Metropolia. Just change the names. It's I don't know. Well, sometimes I think people have pressure and they make bad choices, but that's why you're here. You're studying. You're learning. You should be learning, not for the papers, for the life. Yeah, you're learning for the life. And the work life. You also could have also, you know, your own personal life too at some point. Not now. Now you're studying. Okay, so basically that's the reason why every single one will be using the Turnitin. Okay, the fundamental reason, and why we are using it here, because you will be using also for checking the thesis, but here nobody's watching how many what is the percentage of originality there. You are watching it. But okay, it also you will be submitting the thesis to the this Turnitin for originality check. So that's the final version of the report you would like me to assess. Then I will do the assessment also, and I will be marking some comments on your thesis. So you basically return it as PDF document, and well, I also have on my computer that full PDF stuff, but anyways, then I would need to, you know, email it back. But now it's on the Turnitin where I can make the markings there, and then you can read whatever I have commented. And basically those comments, you should read those carefully, since this is the first time anyone probably will give you some feedback on the this thesis type of document. I know that you also practice similar things on the academic English and project communication skills class. However, I take another point of view there. On that class, that's the language supervisor's point of view. I'm using as the thesis supervisor's point of view there. So whatever I'm writing, there are the comments that would be the first comment from your own supervisor. Well, I can actually show you one there. Just an example. It's a good example. It was pretty good job. But anyhow, yeah. So original check. Let's see if I just. If I still remember my password. That's the another question. I don't remember my password. That's basically, I blame Chrome for that. You shouldn't let Chrome to save any passwords. You shouldn't. They're not safe. Okay. But anyways, the most common comments what I give are about the often sentences, meaning one single sentence alone in one single paragraph. So you should have at least 2 sentences in one paragraph. Or often paragraphs, meaning one single paragraph under a chapter or subchapter. You should have at least 2 paragraphs. So if you have one, then you should always have another one, whatever that is. Okay, good. So that is the most common comment ever. Then of course I will be commenting if there are any unclear stuff, confusing stuff. If I have to read a sentence 3 times, then there's something wrong with it. Or I'm tired, either or. Usually there's something wrong. So basically you should be writing a thesis. Okay, now don't tell that one to your English teacher, and we hope that she doesn't or watch the this YouTube either. Okay, use short sentences. That's my advice. Then it's easier to get a clear text, so it flows well. Well, it looks a little bit awkward, of course. There are short sentences that, and try to avoid fancy words. They are for, you know, humanities or literature students. You are engineering students. You just say what you think, and that's it. Only the things that are important. All right. So that's about the report. So fundamentally, you will be practicing the report writing using the Metropolia thesis template. Okay, then the 8th assignment is final video presentation, meaning that you will be practicing this oral presentation of giving the thesis presentation. In thesis presentation, it's 15 minutes usually, the time given for the, but this is shorter. It's supposed to be shorter. The project, then it's basically 10 minutes maximum. And then basically you should give a link, also return a link. And well, if you are wondering what they could look like, basically we can, for example, start one of those.
Hello guys,
so
this is my final video presentation for the innovation project I made last year. If you haven't watched the introduction video before this one, I recommend that you go and watch it.
The voice is a little bit, I think I gave some
doing some research
comments. No, I didn't. I haven't commented yet. I should. But anyways, this kind of presentation, going through whatever you did doing on your the innovation project. Okay, so those were the tasks, 8 tasks or assignments, and you should be doing whatever I'm asking on each of these assignments. This, in my opinion, personal opinion, biased personal opinion, these assignments are quite clear and straightforward. And basically you should learn something about doing stuff in organized manner, and basically the target is that it would be then after this one it will be easier to do your final year project. Okay. Yeah, practice for that. All right. There's also a scoreboard showing what people have done this far. Every single task basically gives you some points. Strange. What? There's 12 and a half. Oh, okay. I see. So from those are the assignments and the maximum points. Total from first exercise is basically 1 point, and then the up to the A6, which was basically assignment 6, was the table of contents and introduction. Then A7 was the Turnitin, basically meaning the thesis, or not thesis, the report itself. And why there's 5 points? That actually indicates my best guess on which grade this this thesis, or if this was a thesis work, which would be my guess for the final grade. Okay, so for example, Timo Ukonmaan-aho made just an excellent work. Well, no surprise, guy who has been already working for several years, and this was basically just show, yeah, okay, I can do it already. Was here basically to get a formal degree. Then there are a couple of guys, this Battara and Takur, made also a nice work on their project, and that's something between 4 and 5 grade. So I give 4.5. Then there's, let's see, the Mr. Asukuo made a quite decent, but it was something it been 3.5 and 4. But this is, I have always also comments why I gave that the grade there. Okay, but that basically is a forecast what it would be after few iterations of the document. So, and why that's fair, well, or fair to everyone, the same way fair to everyone. I have been supervising something like 120 bachelor's theses this far. It doesn't make me an expert, but it gives me some sort of feeling that, okay, that could be the final point. Yes, you have a question.
So that's the grade not for the writing, not for report, but for the whole thing?
That is actually for the based on that report.
So it's only based on the
based on the report. Yeah. Based on the report. That's my best guess. Okay. Then the last one, A8, is the final video presentation, 10 points. And there I will be watching the clarity and other stuff. But anyways, if you are not getting the full points there, it means that there's something missing. So it wasn't too convincing. Okay. And you will score the total points, and then basically 90% means 5, 80% means 4, 70% is 3, 60% of points is 2, and then 40% is the 1. There. since this is online and kind of non-stop implementation, whenever you need update on the scoreboard, send me email. I'm not taking even weekly look at the returned assignments. I just basically once in a while. Of course, when you are getting closer to the the end of the season, I start to look at those weekly. But if you need something, if you need the points, then basically just drop me with an email. Okay. Then, okay, I have some topics available. Open topics. If you don't find your own, or if your employer or your friends or your parents or whoever doesn't give you any topic, or if you cannot find yourself, then we have some topics basically to continue. So, or just start on that one. So basically we have mail delivery game, but that's hardware project. By the way, these are more or less say embedded into smart systems engineering kind of topics. So mail delivery game would be making a USB device that for computer it looks like the joystick, standard joystick, but it's actually censored. Sensors are coming from a bicycle. That one right there on the corner, yellow one. Okay. A few years back, we delivered to the Postal Museum of Finland this game. It's basically a mail delivery game where there's a two bicycles on stands, and then basically you can paddle and steer and go and distribute the mail to the mailboxes on virtual environment. The hardware part requires overhaul. The software works. Then Raspberry Pi doesn't have A to D converter unless you make it. This is actually simpler than it sounds like. We have some SPI protocol A to D converters, and it's very simple hardware project. Nobody has taken it yet. All right. But I would guess that if you are interested on this one, you would get a lot of respect from the Raspberry developers community. Then, okay, automated blackboard camera or whiteboard camera. I take this kind of pictures on my classes. I use this mobile phone to take the pictures and transfer those to the Google the photos, or usually on the class. I have a link to the Google Drive on my class, and basically then I have a folder where I can easily download, but it takes few, click before they are there. I would like to have an automatic camera, preferably there, and then also it should automatically recognize and correct this uneven lighting. And then of course it could a little bit enhance the drawings here, get rid of the, say, speckles like that. So clean it up and download it on the same place or the correct place when I have my, for example, a course right here. I just click and automatically downloads it to the anywhere. This is image processing, but also some, say, this would be software robot basically. Yeah, some image processing and software project robot. Okay, then indoor environment supervision. What is this one? I don't remember what that one is all about. Ooh. Okay, last year, so last academic year, we had a project with Osnabrück University Applied Sciences. The students of ours and theirs made this kind of device. Well, there's a specification what it should do, with lots of room for own innovation. Well, that's one topic that is available to do. It's again some hardware with some sensors in it and connected somehow, for example, to the cloud services. All right, then my colleague Kimmo Saureen made this kind of innovation project topic, basically having an optical mouse as a movement detector for, say, any robot. So that's kind of fun project. You just take a mouse and connect you, for example, microcontroller, as I see. Raspberry Pi would be easy, then you just plug this kind of mouse, but then that should be a device that basically tells which way your robot is moving. And should be able to work on rough terrain. That's the actually, I would say this is quite, it's not that easy to make a optical mouse to work on rough terrain. All right. Then this actually memory-friendly community. Last fall we had the digital well-being sprint that basically came up with some the final number of those the cases were actually eight different ideas for Lapinjärvi community. Lapinjärvi is in between of Porvoo and Kouvola, small city of about does it say it here? I think it was only about 2,500 people are living in Lapinjärvi, and 60% of them are either retired or close to retire, and which means that basically the community is trying to keep those people at their homes as long as possible by basically developing this their city so that there are some helping elements there, using technology to help people live longer in homes. And the most common reason for a person to be kind of hospitalized is the memory problem. Okay. However, that's about the case we did, and then there's some videos again, and there are
what brilliant startup company based on the concept
okay,
that they
that
created.
yada blah blah blah.
Teams working in Espoo site, you will be
our municipality to be the first human-centered municipality.
Okay.
In Finland.
The last ones are the most important.
And I'm the mayor.
There's a lot of
So
stuff on that low quality YouTube videos to watch to find those 8 videos which actually make some sense. So there are 8 ideas buried inside of that repository. One of those is already in prototype zero version is coming as the final year project. So there was actually the idea to have a droid to fly and check if a person is okay or not. So they are quite safe, fancy ideas there. Some are doable, some are not, and some are just straightforward for software engineers. Some are not. Okay, so those topics I have. All right. So what kind of topics you can actually have? Anything where there's some room for innovation, some room to make errors, so to speak. On thesis, if you cannot deliver what you promised for the customer, it affects directly to your final year thesis, the assessment. This one you can get actually 5 also for a project that failed. Nice bonus. Or, well, you can also get 1 with the perfect project if it's you don't score all the points on the way. So you just leave, say, let's see, where was my there's the scoreboard. Okay, that was the scoreboard. So basically, if you leave the some of these assignments, what I'm really requiring is you have the thesis, or not the thesis, the report, and you kind of just make it so that it would end up as 1. Okay, you score only 1 point there, and few other points here and there. You get 41 point some %. Yeah, I'm happy to give you 1. No problem. I can give you as low grade as you wish. All right. So, okay. So, topics, basically almost anything that has something to do with the IT would be just fine. If you are working, then go to your boss and ask if there are any projects that you could do as innovation project, and explain, okay, there is also possibility that basically you would be looking at high risk projects that your employer wants to basically you to make a feasibility study on some technology. That will be 2 thumbs up for the innovation project. Definitely you need to be innovative there on a very new topic that your boss is not, or your company is not basically convinced that it would be doable. Okay, so high risk feasibility studies, just fine. That's excellent topics for the innovation project. And your first, basically, the first point to check the topic would be your boss, if you are employed. If you have self-employed, then okay, then the problem there is that, okay, you need to actually have a customer, but then customer, you can call it customer if it pays something, but if there's a room for that it doesn't go anywhere, it's hard to sell a high risk project for a customer, unless of course your customer is also somehow relative to you. So, or a friend, okay, or a hobby. Anyways, you need to actually have someone, a stakeholder to your project, someone who benefits from your project other than you. So you need to have some kind of customer who tells what you do. you have the there the part that you would innovate the solution for the existing problem. Okay. If you really want to make your topic of your own so that you are only interested on that topic, but you really want to do it, yeah, sure. But then you actually have to have someone to test your final system, or you have to be as a customer to your own idea. That's where your relatives are handy. Mom, look what I did. What's that? It's my innovation project. Okay. So, after checking the relatives for the topics, well, there are some offerings on here. Also, the list what I showed you. Okay, but well, if you don't find any topics, then we can have a discussion. I will just asking you some questions like what are your interests. There have been actually last year there were a couple of groups that did a project on a hobby, and did a pretty good one. So no worries. If you have some hobbies, then you can there combine studies with your hobbies. Not a bad idea. That's what why I actually started studying. My background is in physics, experimental physics, but why I applied for the university, well, that's another story. But why I started actually, I got an interest on electronics was because of the I was playing a guitar in a band, heavy metal band. This is Finland, you know. We have only heavy metal bands. Heavy metal, yeah. And I really wanted to start doing my own guitar effects. So that's electronics. Then I also started thinking, hey, wait a minute. There's so many things that could be done on digital domain. That gave me interest on digital signal processing. So that's basically my the teaching topics mostly. The major teaching topics in here, they are related somehow digital signal processing and electronics. Like, well, the microcontroller is just one tool of doing it. So that's why I'm here, because of my hobby. It's not a bad idea to actually combine your hobbies with your studies, and this innovation project gives you a playground. And then, of course, hobbies are usually something that you are not doing just alone, so you would have your playmates there, guys you hang around. And by the way, drinking beer is not considered as hobby. Although there could be some innovations there. Okay. Good. Questions? Now it's time to ask questions. No questions. Okay, let me close my video then. So that's all